Hello, my name is Nur Hakim Aznam from DEC6 Alpha. So this is going to be my first commentary video, which is going to cover about 7 social processes that grease the slippery slope of evil. And yeah, my subject will be the most famous father in Malaysia, which is Ayah Pin. So as you guys know, he is the most famous because he claims himself as the god, especially for the one kingdom, one, what we call it, yeah, it will be religion of his own, which is Sky Kingdom. In Malay, it will be Kerajaan Langit. And also, he claimed that he is the one who found all the other religion in this world: Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, all of the religion. He said that he's the one that creates it. Okay, so before we start, how about we talk a bit about his personal life? Okay, Ayah Pin was born as Arifin Muhammad. So his real name is Arifin Muhammad on June 22nd, 1941, into a Muslim family. So he's originally Muslim. Okay, so Ayah Pin also was illiterate, and he attended primary school until only year 2. And he was also involved in a small part-time business until he eventually working in a scrap iron and buffalo trading, and even worked as a subcontractor. So he has been around in his time. And he also had 4 marriages and 21 children. So Ayah Pin's first wife, Che Minah Ramli, died in 2012, and then he later on married an 18-year-old woman, and after remarried, Ayah Pin suffers from stroke. I mean, that is it. That is in short about him. Okay, moving on to our first step, which is mindlessly taking the first small step. Okay, literally as it say, Ayah Pin, before he started to have this so-called um, Sky Kingdom, or started to claim himself as a god, started to claim that he is the one who creates the other religions, he must have started somewhere, right? So actually, before he ever do all those things, he was once the follower of Hassan Anak Rimau. So Hassan Anak Rimau is also someone who claim himself as a god, who have his own cult, his own religious, his own follower, organization, things like that. Okay, so maybe that is how Ayah Pin started. So with by following Hassan Anarimau, he also developed his own idea to be a god, to be a leader, because he claimed that in the afterlife he is going to be the prime minister. He holds the key to heaven, and yeah, that's hilariously ridiculous. um yeah, eventually that is the small step that he takes. He became a follower, he created his own ideology, and he has the idea to become a god. And then he started with gathering follower, spreading his new cult over Malaysia. And yeah, he do have a lot of follower. It doesn't matter from orang asli, from university students, even from other races like Indian, Chinese, Malays. He managed to gather them all to join his cult, his new religion. He had all those people to obey him, to what was the word, to make him as their god. Yeah, that's it. So that is the first step, mindlessly taking the first small step. Okay, moving on to the second one, which is dehumanization of others. This is where one see others as people with feelings like oneself, rather one perceive others as bad enemies, insects, etc. Okay, so in this case, I think that maybe Ayah Pin thought that his ideology, his idea of having Sky Kingdom, his idea of claiming to be God, to be claiming that he's the one who creates other religions, so that people will be following his new cult, his new religious, making him their god. Maybe he thought that others are in a bad situation, condition, or in a false religion, so that he thought he should be the one who saved these people. He should be the one who invite all these people into his religious, into his cult, so that that's why he did it. He did it what he done before, which is he created Sky Kingdom. He kind of have their own base empire on land, in on earth, which is kind of funny because yeah, he thought that this kind of things is simply like having a government. I mean, he is making a religious issue to be the same as organizing a government, like that. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on with the third one, which is the individuation of self. For me, in this third steps, I don't think Ayah Pin have any sort of problem with hiding his identity. At least not when he's ready in 1982, again, if I'm not mistaken, when he publicly announced that he is the god. He has this one so-called Sky Kingdom where he lived up there, and where he hold the key to heaven. So judging on all these things, we can see that Ayah Bin has no intention in keeping his identity to be secret. In fact, he wanted to be known because, yeah, he wanted people to know that he is a god. He is the god that everyone should follow, should worship. And yeah, for the step number 4 is going to be diffusion of personal responsibility. Okay, for this step, let me explain a bit, where you are not entirely or directly responsible, rather you were acting with a larger group or under others' orders. So yeah, for me it's kind of like where you don't want to admit that it's your fault. It's either it's you and your clique's fault, or it's just you are doing it because someone asked you to. Well, okay, moving on to Ayah Pin point of view. So I think Ayah Pin is not going to neglect any of his doing, but he's saying that this is part of his kingdom. So he's addressing that all these things he did is for his religion, his kingdom. So he, as the god of his own cult, of his own religious, so he claims that they are all together in this. So whenever Ayah Pin is confronted by the government, by all the authorities, especially the, what we call it, Sharia punya, it's Sharia enforcer. Sorry, I couldn't get it right, I think. But however, I was going to say that he doesn't necessarily have to neglect any of his doing, because he's claiming that everything that happened, everything that he's done, is for everyone that is worshipping, that is following his cult, his religious. All right. For step number 6 is uncritical conformity to group norms, is where you do what the group does without questions. I mean, this is especially true for those who worship Ayah Pin. I mean, yeah, all of the followers, they have been worshipping, they follow all the you know, basically Ayah Pin is like copying most from Islam. Like for example, when we are having what would you call it, sorry, I have to do this again. Okay, for step number 6, that will be uncritical conformity to group norms. Well, this is where you do what the group does without question. Okay, this is especially true for those who worship Ayah Pin, the followers. Okay, so yeah, let's say that Ayah Pin is actually, we can say basically he is copying most from Islam. So let's say we are having a tahlil. Well, just imagine that situation where we were having tahlil. They also have the same thing, but they will be very loud, and no, because normally we will separate those males and females in groups, and there will be distance between the males and females, and then it's a religious activity. But then this one held by Ayah Pin, it is more like a very worse version of it, where it will be done without any distancing or separation for those male and female. It will be very loud, like it's going to be some of the people who yell, and then they are going to move around, shake their heads and everything very uncomfortably, and mostly it will be done in dark places or dark condition. I mean, it's going to be dark, so yeah, it doesn't even sounds or even looks religious. Yeah, but they still going to do it, as it says, without questioning a thing. They just do it. And for the last one, which is passive tolerance of evil through inaction or indifference, which is it's a bystander effect. Individuals do not offer any means to help in an emergency situation to the victim when there are other people in present. Sorry. Well, for this one, I'm afraid there might be not any relatable situation for Ayah Pin issue. Maybe let's say for those Muslim people who has been worshipping Ayah Pin. Okay, so let's say, would it be those authority who has been after this? I'm not sure, but I don't think so. So I guess that's all for my commentary video, and thank you very much for watching. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.